Most people think becoming rich happens gradually, like watching grass grow, but in reality, your life changes at just 3 specific net worth milestones. Each milestone unlocks a completely different financial reality and shifts how you interact with the world. The first milestone is about survival turning into stability. The second is where work starts to become optional because your money is doing the heavy lifting. The third is true wealth freedom, where the concept of a paycheck disappears entirely. If you understand these 3 numbers, you can predict exactly when your life will change financially. But before we dive into those numbers, we have to address why net worth matters much more than your annual income. There is a common trap in our society where high income is confused with wealth. You might know a surgeon or a lawyer earning $300,000 a year who is still living paycheck to paycheck because their expenses match their earnings. High income without a growing net worth is just a high-speed treadmill. If you stop running, the lifestyle collapses. Net worth is the only metric that determines your freedom. It is a simple calculation. Your assets minus your debts. It's what you own versus what you owe. Your net worth is the buffer between you and the demands of the world. Most people have no idea which milestone they are closest to or how far they've actually come. The first milestone is the one almost nobody talks about, yet it is the most difficult to reach because it requires the most manual labor. However, once you hit it, it changes your stress levels overnight. Milestone number 1 is hitting a $100,000 net worth. We call this the stability threshold. This is the first real financial cushion you will ever build. For most people, the journey from 0 to 100,000 is a grueling climb. You are fighting against your own habits, paying off student loans, and trying to find enough margin in your budget to start investing. But once you cross this line, something psychological shifts. Emergencies stop being disasters. If your car breaks down or you need a new roof, it's no longer a crisis that requires a high-interest credit card. It's just a temporary inconvenience. At this stage, you begin to experience less financial anxiety. You start to realize that you have walk-away money. You aren't wealthy enough to retire, but you are wealthy enough to handle a job loss or a career pivot without panicking. This milestone is where the mechanics of wealth change. For the first time, compound interest begins to matter. When you have $10,000 invested, a 10% gain is only $1,000. It's nice, but it doesn't change your life. But when you have $100,000, that same 10% gain is $10,000. That is a significant amount of money that you didn't have to trade your time for. Saving becomes easier at this stage because the momentum has started. You've proven to yourself that you can build wealth, and the visible growth of your accounts becomes an addiction. Think of a young professional who finally pays off their debt and sees their first $100,000 in a brokerage account. They don't feel rich yet, but they feel secure. The constant weight on their chest regarding monthly bills has lifted, but this milestone is tiny compared to the second one, because this is where wealth starts building itself. Milestone number 2 is the $500,000 net worth. This is the momentum phase. At this point, the nature of your wealth changes from a snowball you are pushing to a snowball that is rolling down a hill on its own. This is where your investments generate serious returns that can rival a median salary. If you have $500,000 invested and the market returns a conservative 7%, your net worth grows by $35,000 in a single year just by existing. This is the point where financial confidence turns into a sense of inevitability. When you hit $500,000, work becomes significantly less stressful because you know that even if you never saved another penny, your current nest egg would likely grow into millions over the next few decades. You have the freedom to take bigger risks. You might decide to start that business you've been thinking about or move to a part-time schedule. The psychological shift here is massive. You stop worrying about money constantly. The future no longer feels like a question mark. It feels like a secure destination. At this level, you aren't just surviving, you are thriving. The growth from your investments is likely doing as much work as you are. This is the stage where people often fall into the trap of lifestyle inflation. But if you stay the course, the final milestone is where something shocking happens. Your money officially replaces your job. Milestone number 3 is the $1 million net worth. This is the freedom line. Reaching $1 million is a transformational moment because for most people, financial independence becomes a realistic daily reality. At this stage, your investments can support your lifestyle indefinitely. If we look at the simple 4% rule, $1 million portfolio portfolio can provide roughly $40,000 a year in passive income without ever touching the principal balance. For many, that covers all basic living expenses. At this milestone, work becomes entirely optional, or at the very least, completely flexible. You no longer work because you have to. You work because you want to. There is a profound lack of fear regarding recessions or market downturns because you have the sheer volume of assets to weather the storm. The emotional shift here is a real sense of total freedom. You are no longer a cog in the machine. It's important to give a reality check here. $1 million does not make you luxury rich. You aren't buying private jets or mega mansions, but you are genuinely secure. You have won the game of financial survival. You have reached a point where your time is entirely your own. There is a hidden milestone that nobody talks about, and it's the shape of the net worth growth curve. If you look at a graph of wealth accumulation, it isn't a straight line. It's a curve that starts flat and then shoots straight up. The key insight is that the first 100,000 is the hardest. It might take you 10 years to get there, but the next 900,000 to reach $1 million often happens much faster than the first 100 did. This is due to the acceleration of compounding, your increased skill in managing money, and the fact that your income usually grows as you get older. Wealth starts slow, then suddenly it feels inevitable. The heavy lifting is all in the beginning. Once you get the flywheel spinning, it's hard to stop. To reach each of these milestones faster, you need a specific strategy for each phase. To reach $100,000, you must focus on the fundamentals, increase your income through side hustles or career advancement, kill your high-interest debt aggressively, and automate your investing so you never see the money leave your paycheck. This stage is about discipline and grit. To move from $100,000 to $500,000, you need to focus on consistency and avoiding lifestyle inflation. As your salary increases, keep your expenses the same and funnel the extra cash into high-return assets like index funds or real estate. This is the boring middle where many people give up and buy a fancy car, but those who stay invested see the greatest rewards. Tax efficiency and staying the course amid market crises help reach $1 million. Avoid touching your portfolio. At this point, your behavior is your worst enemy. If you stay invested and let the math work, you'll reach $1 million sooner than expected. Quick recommendations for all stages: never carry a credit card balance, maximize employer match, and pay yourself first. Many blunders delay these milestones for decades. People chase meme stocks or dubious crypto ideas to make rich fast, but they usually start over. People with lifestyle inflation spend every increase they earn on a bigger house or nicer lease, keeping their net worth unchanged. Some people hoard cash out of fear of the market, unaware that inflation is eroding their purchasing power. Avoiding these traps is as crucial as investing. Your biggest mental shift is believing prosperity is predictable. Luck or family background are not factors. These milestones are mathematically certain for consistent people. Financial freedom is a schedule, not impossible. Save a particular amount and invest it at a given return to reach these values. The question is when, not if. Everything opens up when you stop thinking of money as something to spend and start using it to buy freedom. Which milestone are you nearing? Are you approaching $100,000, $500,000, or the $1 million freedom line? Remember that the first milestone is toughest everywhere. After that stability level, the rest comes faster than expected. Keep your head down, monitor the numbers, and see your life change one milestone at a time.